Hey, how's it going? It's Carl, aka Carl Drum Tech. I'm here right now at the Waikau Trail here in Wailua, Kauai. And what I wanted to talk about today is, as I sit here in this beautiful and serene, end of the trail kind of area where you see behind me there's this waterfall, amazing river that goes down. It's just absolutely gorgeous. It was about a 2.5 mile hike to get here, and it's absolutely worth the trip. There's a lot of mosquitoes, but that's okay. So while I'm here in this serene area, had a chance to kind of sit down and think about some things. And what I wanted to talk about today is the topic of, how do you make marching band cool? It's like for the longest time, we've always been, even when I was back in my marching days, we were considered the nerds of the high school, or the geeks, the outcasts, weird people, right? And it's like, how do you make an activity like marching band cool? There is always that stigma, right, of the band nerd that's just like, hey, yeah, let's play some notes backwards and, like whatever, right? It's like we're all kind of nerdy like that. We're all kind of geeky. But that's the thing. It's like if you look at somebody like Kobe Bryant, he used to say that, Kobe Bryant is a basketball player. He used to say that he's a basketball nerd. And what makes him a basketball nerd is that, like, he's always thinking about basketball. He's always talking about basketball. He's always analyzing, dissecting basketball. He lives, breathes, and sleeps basketball. Now, how is that any different from the dedicated marching band or drumline or color guard member? Not much of a difference at all. We're all trying to be the best at our craft. We're all trying to analyze how to do things better. We're all trying to push ourselves and challenge ourselves, to try to do things differently, to do more challenging stuff. And it's like we're always living, breathing, and sleeping drumline, band, marching band, color guard. But it's like somehow the jocks, so quote unquote, or the athletes, while they're geeky and nerdy about their sport, they're never going to be considered geeky or nerdy, while us band geeks are always going to be the Twinkies, the nerds, the geeks, and we're the outcasts. Nobody wants to talk to us, and we just like stay in our little circle in the band room and talk to nobody else on the campus. So how do we make our activity cooler? How do we seem cooler in front of our peers and stuff like that? Well, my number one suggestion is don't try to be. Don't try to be cool. Don't try to be like, suffocating the people and just being like, hey guys, look, I'm cool. It's just one of those things where it's just like, the number one thing in terms of just like how to relate to people is to just like, kind of like see things on their level. So for example, if you are a basketball player or something like that, right, and you're just like a basketball nerd, you have to be relatable to people. So if you talk to people who know nothing about basketball, talk to them about basketball. And it's like, but at the same time, you have to be considerate that they don't know anything about it. So maybe educate them a little bit, and then try to talk about something or try to relate to them about something that they like, right? So it's like if that person is not into basketball, but they like gardening, ask them about gardening, things like that, right? So that definitely helps in terms of just like relating to people. Because what happens is, the super nerds, okay, the really nerdy types, who wear glasses and like talk like this. Okay, sorry. All right, but what makes people like weird or nerdy is when they don't relate to people at all, right? It's like, they're just, all they talk about is the thing that really is the thing they're obsessed about, right? And that's all they talk about, and that's all they think about, and to other people, that's all they do. That's what makes you nerdy. That's what makes you like uncool, quote unquote, right? Now, basketball players can be like that, but at the same time, they have the advantage of the fact that society considers that not nerdy or geeky, or society thinks of that as cool. That's neither a good thing nor a bad thing. It is what it is. That's just how it was painted to be. Yeah, sure, it's a little bit unfortunate. We get looked down upon or whatever. But that's fine. It's fine to get looked down upon. It's fine if people underestimate us. It's fine if people think we're not cool. But, if anything, just think about it like this. In high school, once that's done, it's done. Like, I was one of the biggest mad nerds there is. I mean, sure, I was in the drumline or whatever. But after high school, none of those divisions mattered. Like, I went to my high school reunion, and it's like there were no more barriers. The cheerleaders, the jocks, the geeks, the losers, and the band nerds, we all kind of like just became the same. And just like there was no barrier, there was no hierarchy, there was no like cliques. It was just like, hey, how you doing? Oh, you used to be in band, huh? Nice, cool, awesome. and it's just you talk to them as a regular person, and whatever barriers you had or hierarchies that you had in high school, those were all gone. So think of it that way, right? It's like, you know, in some ways these things are so unimportant and they're gonna go away as soon as you get out of high school. And even while you're in high school, again, go back to what I said about like how to be relatable, right? The most important thing is to relate to people and to try to like expand your circle. Don't just hang out in the band room like I did throughout my high school career. Make friends outside of band. Like right now, you know, like as I graduated high school, the only friends that I had was people who were involved in the marching activity, and I wanted so bad to make friends outside of the activity. And the only way for me to do that was to basically relate to them not on a marching band level. And I enjoy that. I like that. Now, you don't have to do what I did. You don't have to try to make friends outside of, you know, marching band, drumline, whatever. You don't have to do that at all. But at the same time, you know, if you want to expand your horizons, if you want to just not be one-dimensional and just be all about, you know, marching band and drumline, reach out and try to talk to people outside of your circle. Try to meet people, you know, outside of, you know, like your boundaries, and meet people and talk to people and just relate to them on a completely different level. This makes you a completely complex and, you know, just more interesting human being. Now, it doesn't mean that, like, you know, if all you do is marching band and that's all you think about and that's who you are, great. That's totally fine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong about that, but at the same time, if you want to, like, you know, just like be seen as somebody more than that, you have to expand, you have to meet other people, you have to try to relate to people on a completely different level. Now, when I was in high school back in the day, mosquitoes. When I was in high school back in the day, especially my senior year, we played a show that was extremely relatable to people. We played Bohemian Rhapsody, which is a Queen song, one of the famous Queen songs of all time, famous rock songs of all time, and we played it as a drumline show, and it was very popular because it was featured in the movie Wayne's World. For some of you younger guys, sorry, but Wayne's World was a really popular movie back in the 90s when I was young. Anyways, so a lot of the kids related to that show, and they loved the music, and my senior year was full of cheerleaders, jocks, the quote-unquote popular people who wanted to see the drumline show. Like every time we perform, you know, there's kids coming to us before we perform saying, "Did the drumline perform yet?" And we said no, and they're like, "Yes." So, you know, it's just like that. The lesson in that is like we did something that was relatable, right? And it's like we were able to be seen as cool. But beyond that, we were just seen as regular people, and we saw, you know, the cheerleaders and the jocks and the cool people be regular people because we related to them. Now, I'm not saying, you know, you have to do this or anything like that. Of course, there are shows, you know, that are like completely unrelatable to the normal person, you know, when we do marching band and drumline and, you know, like indoor percussion and all that stuff. I understand that, and that's fine. Go do that up, go live that up, max it out. But at the same time, you know, like when you try to expand your horizons, talk to people and relate to them on a completely different level. You know, sure, talk about your show here and there, try to get them to, like, you know, be interested in it. And then if they're not, cool, see what they're interested in, try to make friends, or not, it's all good. You know, it's just like whatever you're comfortable with. But at the same time, all I'm trying to say is, you know, try to be relatable, try to expand, try to be more than just one-dimensional, and basically you can see a whole new big world around you. If instead of just like sitting in the band room all day, instead of sitting in the band room, you know, and just having band friends, you know, it's like there's, as you can see behind me, there's a whole big, huge world, and you want to explore that because it's awesome. All right, cool. So hopefully this video was interesting and helpful to you. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. I would really appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments or anything, you know, if you have a topic that you feel like you want me to cover, please make sure you leave that in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what the heck are you waiting for? Make sure you subscribe. Hit that subscribe button right now. Do it. Hurry up. And if you did, I really do appreciate you. And of course, if you think this video can help somebody else, please make sure you share this video. Share it on your social media, you know, platforms. I would really appreciate that as well. All right. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out from Kauai. Mahalo. Thank you.